co-host Eric. How are you tonight?
Yes, I am doing great. Great Sunday over here. Special location over here. We have some guests, some live guests that will be joining the show, as well as the two guests that we have on the show later today. So, good stuff.
Yeah, you care to introduce your guest, by the way? Because I guess they're going to be hearing them, so the audience is going to be hearing them, so might as well introduce them.
This is Tyler, buddy of Eric's. I might have a couple future Kentucky Derby value picks for our viewers a little bit later, so we'll get into that. A little horse racing, handicapping, Kentucky Derby, and the Traverse Stakes. I think we'll touch on a little bit later, Eric.
Yes, thank you, Tyler. Big horse races coming up. We got some value picks for the listeners here, and who doesn't like to make a little money?
Touche.
Yeah, you can buy some dinner for your family here next for a little pick here.
Corona Senator, he's popping.
But I kind of wanted to. So what topics did you want to talk about, Byron?
Well, one, are you done introducing your guest? Because I know there's more than one over there.
So right now we'll just introduce Tyler. Right now, Travis, who's also here, he may have just hit a horse bet. We've got value picks all around, and this kind of shows there's proof in the pudding here. We just hit a bet. We just hit one. So
okay, well, I don't know. I guess let's get right to it then, shall we? I guess the first topic we will talk about is a lot of NBA players have come out now stating that they don't want to be trapped in a bubble. NBA has given choice to them if they want to play or not, and a lot of them have chosen not to. How do you feel about that? Do you think the NBA should go on with its season, knowing the fact key players don't want to play?
That's a tough call. I say play on, even if those players shouldn't be penalized. Now, should they get paid? That's a good question, but I think the season should go on. You gotta owe it to the fans who pay those players' bills.
Because Kyrie has stated he don't know. He's got, I think, a bunch of other players too with Kyrie saying maybe we shouldn't have a season because we need to focus on what's going on in our communities.
So he's talking about the protesting, the
It's not just that too, but it's also the virus going around as well. Seeing how we are a hotspot here again.
Right. I see their concern. It's a legit concern. The numbers don't lie, but I think professional athletes that, if they happen to contract it, a lot of athletes are right now. At worst they're probably sick for a couple days. I'm really not trying to undermine the virus. I'm really not, although it might sound like it. So I think if they don't want to play, that's okay. I'm not going to say anything that they should have to be forced to play, because that's not right. Even if there's less, some of the big players aren't playing.
I do like what they're planning on doing, though. Instead of actually playing the rest of the games, what they're doing is they're going to play, I think I heard about 8 to 10 games to find out the rest of the seedings, which isn't too bad, because I think the only seedings that really need to be seeded was between 9 and 8. That was it in both leagues. So I think that's a good idea. When the season does start, they're going to do that. And then once they get into the playoffs, I believe they changed it up a bit. I don't from reports out there, because it's reports. You never know what's true or not true. Um,
Right.
Reports are saying that they might do the seeding differently than other playoffs in the past. They might do like 1 through how there's 16 teams. They might do by seeding 1 through 6, 1 through 16, 2 through 15, all that. That's how they might do it. So I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be an interesting run. So
Right. Yeah, I think before we get Greg on,
Triple crown.
He's
All
won
right.
a
Triple crown of horse racing.
Travis, introduce yourself.
Hello, I've won the triple crown of horse betting today. I've hit a superfecta, a trifecta, and an exacta.
Yeah.
Daddy's getting paid.
oh, did you?
And how long have you been handicapping races for?
I've been betting horses for 17 hours.
Wow. Oh, very good.
So he's basically an expert here.
So
So Travis,
you
he picked up-
were on it when American Pharaoh won, huh? Were you on it when he won Triple Crown, Tyler?
No, so Travis, he just started handicapping horses 17 hours ago, but some people have a natural.
I hear them laughing back there.
What was that?
I hear them two laughing back there.
Well, no, I mean he's a natural at picking horse racing.
He hit.
All right.
Oh my
All right.
goodness!
He just hit another exacta.
He just
hit another exacta.
all right. So
He's
so
getting paid. Hey, it's getting paid. Free money.
You know,
Free money.
This is a live show here, and he's hit another exacta.
You're the one of the
It's I know it's a Sunday show, and this probably should be more a Friday show, but we're having fun here.
We are.
Hey, that's what
this
show's
is
about.
Yeah, that's what this show's about. Having fun. No comment. Having fun.
Yes. I know we're about to call Greg here, so if you want to introduce, Greg to the show and to our guests.
I can't stop laughing. They're laughing back there. I can hear that.
I could try to bet the ponies if you like, sir.
Yeah, we got a couple guests on, but I think we might go heavy ponies here. But that's okay. Horse racing, sports betting, local sports, it's all one world here. And we're for the people here. We want to make some money for the people. So nothing wrong with that.
So they'll be our guest analysts, shall I say, right?
They are
okay.
yes, guest
All right.
and horse professionals.
There you go. So they're playing the role of what's that word I'm looking for? That guy on
Byron,
ESPN.
Experts.
Huh?
Experts.
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we get right to it? Should we call Greg Allman?
Let's give Greg a call and look forward to talking some Buccaneers football and also just NFL. Yeah.
All right. Let's get him on the phone.
Thanks for having me.
Glad acquisitions of Gronk and Brady. If the season is played, which I know it will be, where do you see the Bucs ranking among the top teams in the NFL this year?
Oh, that's kind of the big question. I mean, first question is just how they fit in their division. They might be one of the top 10 teams in football, but if the Saints finish ahead of them, they're still just a wild card. So that's probably the biggest thing is can they win the South? If they do that, you can get a playoff game in Tampa, and lots of things are possible. Yeah, I think they put themselves in a position where everybody expects them to be a playoff team, and now it's just a matter of what they can do if they get there.
Hey, Greg, this is Eric, co-host of the show. Thanks for joining us. We have Greg Allman on the show, and I wanted to ask you, obviously a huge off season for the Buccaneers. What is the biggest question mark in your mind for the Bucs to be a top 10 team?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, you wonder how that defense is going to be. Are they going to be the same defense that finished last year really strong, or the one that struggled at the start of last year? And I think the offense will be fine. I think Brady will catch on to things. I think they'll cut back on turnovers and be better in that department. But yeah, the defense is probably the biggest thing when I think about whether they're a good team or a great team. That'll be the difference.
Right.
So I got to take you through our draft because we had one heck of a draft. Now, I kind of think Antoine Winfield was a steal in the draft because I watched his daddy growing up while I was growing up, and I just thought that was a steal in the draft. Best player, best cornerback, I think, in his position, and we got him in the second round. Do you think that was a steal for us to get him in the draft?
I don't know if it's a steal, but I think it was a good match. I mean, they need help at safety. So, I mean, that's something where they put a couple high picks into the position, but I think they like him. He's really a versatile guy. A guy that can use a lot of different ways. You need to have a versatile safety. And I would think it might not be a week one thing, but I think he'll be a starter very quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I like that pick a lot. Question to the run game. We've always had a lack of run game recently. With the acquisition, with Brady coming in, how do you see the run game fitting in amongst all the weapons we have at receiving and tight end?
Yeah, I think they definitely want to be better. I mean, I think you have to have a commitment to the run game. I think part of the problem this past year was that they fell behind a lot late, where they really kind of got out of their game plan and were playing from behind. And that makes you throw a lot more. So just staying out of trouble early in games, I think, is going to be the best thing to help the run game. They like Ronald Jones. I think they feel really good about him improving on what he had as a kind of a breakout sophomore year in 2019. They put a third-round pick into Keyshawn Vaughn from Vanderbilt, another big play guy, 8 touchdowns of 60 yards or longer in college. So I think they feel good about that. I think they'll probably throw to the backs a little bit more. So I think the rushing yards will be up as a team, but I think the impact from the running backs will be up just because Brady likes throwing to his backs. He's had at least 100 passes to running backs each of the last 3 years. So I think they'll be more involved in the pass game and lining running backs up as receivers. There's just a lot more they can do with the backs in general, and that doesn't even get to Dare Gunbowale, and if their 7th-round pick, Ray Kale, if he can get on, that's another big play guy that could help them too.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because that's what Brady loves. Watching his tenure with New England, he loves throwing to his running backs and he loves throwing to his tight ends. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that tandem works out. So now I want to ask you about our former quarterback in Jameis. Talk is that it's a toss-up between him and Taysom for starting role of QB when Breeze retires after this year. Who do you see taking the spot of Breeze after he retires next season?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what kind of chance they get to show things this year. I mean, if Breeze is healthy the whole year, Jameis isn't really going to show much of anything. They've already committed a lot of money to Taysom Hill. They gave him $16 million guaranteed. Taysom Hill's going to play this year. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he knows even in that gadget role, he's going to be able to show himself a little bit more. Jameis only really gets on the field if Drew Brees gets hurt. So, no, it'll be a big question. And, Winston only has a 1-year deal. So if things don't look obvious for him with the Saints, whether it's Taysom Hill getting the job or something else happening, he could find himself with another team. But I think he'll be in a better position next year. There probably won't be quite as many free agent veteran quarterbacks like there was this past year, where he should be, even coming off of a quiet year perhaps, one of the more coveted free agents next spring.
As far as the Saints go, I know we have our first game with the Saints. Do you feel that that first game and when we face them again here at home are big deciding factors, because it seems like we're the two top in the South? Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, I mean, whoever wins that Week 1 game is going to be the strong, heavy favorite to win the NFC South. And that's a game in hand. It's a tiebreaker in Week 1. Will certainly be perceived as the NFC South leader. And again, I mean, it'll definitely you'll be seen as probably a top 5 team in the NFL if you win that game. So, it's tricky, but they've won in New Orleans recently. Who knows how quickly Tom Brady can catch on to things, but he's going to have to kind of be ready right away because that might be their toughest game of the season is going to New Orleans in week 1.
I kind of want to also ask, Brady's having these off season, he's working out at the high school with some of the team. I know some people want the he's kind of going against the players' unions, the PA doctors. Have you heard anything about those workouts maybe being broken up?
No, I think I'd be surprised if they would. It's one of those where, they did it Tuesday and he kind of got some backlash Tuesday and was back up on Thursday. So I think he's certainly out there, at least tacitly with the team's approval. They're certainly aware of what he's doing. If the league were to come down with a stronger hand and encourage the Bucs not to do that, maybe it would change. But I would think if they did it this week, they're planning to do it as they would to get things ready. I'd be surprised if things change.
So now I gotta ask you this, because my co-host over here is a season ticket holder. I gotta ask you, do you at one point in time see fans coming back in the seats this year?
Yeah, I think it's reasonable right now to think that fans will be in the seats at some point. I don't think you'll have necessarily full capacity stadiums in place. It's hard to know where our country's going to be in September. If you go back 2 months ago, it's still, talk about September, I think September 10th, I think is the NFL opener. You're talking about 2 full months and then 2 weeks on top of that. So a lot can change between now and then. We're not really in a positive trend right now just because cases are spiking, here and in Texas and in Arizona and a lot of places. So a lot of that's going to have to do, in terms of decisions about crowd and what, if any, crowds or partial crowds or well-spaced crowds. That's still a while off. I think baseball, basketball, hockey, they're all going to be going first, probably with no crowds. So, football might be able to take a step forward, but that's still a long ways off. Right now, I think the big questions are how do they play and get themselves on TV to get that revenue, and then if they can figure out a way to safely get crowds in place, that's gravy on top of that.
Yeah, definitely. We all want our to get in the stands. I know I want to be to see my Chargers play against the Bucs. So I love that, and hopefully that happens. So, but yeah, I want to talk a little about our other teams too in our division. What do you see, Carolina, and where do you see the Falcons? Because everybody's underrating the Falcons this year, like they did when they went to that Super Bowl against the Patriots. Where do you see those two teams ranking up in our division with the Saints?
Yeah, I think Falcons can still be a dangerous team. You go back to last December, it looked like Dan Quinn might be out of a job, and they managed to kind of salvage that. Made some underrated kind of moves in the offseason to add Todd Gurley, to add Dante Fowler. They lost Austin Hooper, but they picked up Hayden Hurst. So, yeah, they're kind of that lurking third team where, it wouldn't be that crazy for them to get into the wild card mix. This could be, especially with 7 playoff teams in each conference, this could be a division that has 3 playoff teams. Carolina's probably a different matter. Carolina, such a massive overhaul of their talent when you think about how much they lost from last year and the year before in terms of Luke Kuechly and Greg Olsen, and then just, James Bradbury, big changes on the offensive line, a new first-time NFL head coach in Matt Rule. So it'd be surprising if that all came together quickly. This might be a rebuilding year where they set themselves up to be a contender in 2021. Teddy Bridgewater, no telling how well he'll do getting a chance to kind of be a full-time every week starter again. But no, I'd be surprised if Carolina can be a great team and make up for so much talent they lost to be competitive this year.
Before we let you go, Greg, I kind of want to ask you on this breaking news here where Cam Newton signs with the Patriots. What's your take on that? And I know it just happened, so do you have any thoughts, on that?
No, it makes sense. It certainly makes sense. That's kind of the best opportunity left. You think about starting jobs that don't necessarily have an obvious person. They've kind of stuck with Jared Stidham since Brady left. But you look at what he's done in his career, I think, like 4 passes, 3 passes, very untested, wasn't a high-round draft pick. So if Cam's healthy, this is a great opportunity for him, probably better than what Jameis has in New Orleans in terms of a path to being a starter if he's healthy, and setting himself up to be a really coveted free agent if he has, he can make just 1 year, get New Orleans, get New England to the playoffs, show he's healthy, show he's still able to play at a high level. He'll be in a much better position a year from now.
And so I want to ask you this final question before we let you go too. I want to know, Shaq Barrett's on his signed the franchise tag this year. After this year, do you see him leaving, or do you see us getting a deal with him signed?
I don't know. It's tricky because I don't even know that I expect him to have as good a year as he had this past year. I mean, 19.5 sacks, that'd be crazy to duplicate that. If he even just got, 12, 15 sacks, just duplicate the Pro Bowl level of his play, that speaks wonders for what he can do for them. I think they'd like to have him back in a long-term deal. They just don't have to. I mean, right now, the way the franchise tag works is for something like this, where you have somebody that you want to keep. He's getting a huge raise. I mean, he made $4 million last year. He's going to make $15.8 million this year. So I know there's some drama right now and that he hasn't signed his franchise tag, but I think he will. And he'll certainly have a chance if he validates himself to get that money. I mean, he'll be right there with Chris Godwin and Levante David as the absolute top priorities for them to bring back and pay well to have back in 21.
Yeah, I definitely. I agree. And, but yeah, we appreciate your time. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come on here. We'd appreciate it if you'd come back when the season comes back, and we'd love to have you back on.
Okay, thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. You guys take care. Stay safe.
Definitely. Same with you.
Thanks for joining. Have a good night.
Wow. The great Greg Allman, everybody. That was a good conversation. I really, that breaking news. Wow. How the heck I didn't see that one coming from Bell. Well, actually no.
Did you know about that, or did I break it to you?
You broke it. I did not hear that because I don't have ESPN app on. I'm not watching ESPN, so wow. Why am I not surprised? It's Belichick. I should have known Belichick would sign him.
Well, so we had a guest a few months ago who predicted this. I can't think of who predicted that.
I know. I can't think either. But yeah, we did have a guest that said that. We did. I can't think of his name either. But yeah, wow.
Well, no, we had someone predict that, and he had played under Bill Belichick, and he thought that it'd be a good fit to have.
Mark Edwards, your fullback.
Was it Mark?
Yes.
I don't recall who it was. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but okay, you're thinking it was Mark Edwards. Okay, so
he played for the Patriots. He won that Super Bowl with them under Belichick.
Right. Okay, so then, it was predicted, and we'll see how that goes. He's no Tom Brady. No.
But I mean, it is Belichick though. I mean, look at Cam. Cam is that troubled player. So, I mean, I see it as a good fit. New England usually takes troubled players, Moss, and turns them around usually. Tried turning around Brown, but that didn't happen.
Player.
Huh?
I wouldn't call Cam Newton a troubled player. I mean, yeah, he did the shindigs back when he was 19, but
I don't mean bad trouble, criminal trouble, just football trouble. Post game.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Stuff like that. But that was a very insightful talk with Greg on the Bucs. What'd you get his take on the other teams in the division? Did you like his take on the division? I thought it was well perceived.
I kind of agree with that. Where I think the Panthers are a wild card. It seems like the Falcons are kind of wild card, as in not making the wild card, but they could. I could see them winning 10 games or winning 6, something like that. And the Falcons, I think the Falcons are not a threat this year. Look, Matty Ryan, I think he just came out and said that he just said that, he's the best quarterback in the division. I think he said. Did you hear that?
No, I did not hear that, but thank you. That's just laughable.
Yeah, so he's a competitor. He's a competitor.
I mean,
so.
I may not be no Brady fan, but even to me that's laughable. Come on, dude. You have no Super Bowl wins and you're saying you're better than Brady?
And this is the day Byron Richmond dies.
Well, how can you say that? I mean, it's good you have confidence in yourself, but come on, face the reality. You have no Super Bowls. You choked in the only Super Bowl. You laid an egg. You could have won it, but you laid an egg against the GOAT.
Biggest choke in Super Bowl history.
Yes, so for you to say you're better than Tom Brady, who's in our division now, no. And plus, you're also forgetting about Breeze. Come on, dude.
He's probably the fourth. Teddy Bridgewater could make the case that he's better than a 2020 Matt Ryan. So.
Yes, agreed. I totally agree with that. He's definitely the fourth quarterback in our division by far. Oh, that's funny. But before we get into D, do you want to get into the betting for the horses?
We'll do it after D. Let's we have the experts. They're still crunching numbers here, so let's go ahead and call D, and then we'll get to the we'll kind of end the show with the horse bets. So stay tuned. Don't leave.
All right, let's do it then. Calling D Brown right now. Former MLB player for the Royals. D, welcome.
You gotta do. Yes. We
Back in high school, I know you committed to play at University of Maryland for playing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Baseball and football. Of course, you get drafted in the first round, and that first round money probably sways you one way, which is nothing. What was that like? Kind of.
I mean, it was. I played baseball, which was more exciting, and but baseball was something that I always did since I was 8 years old. So, when it came down to the decision to choose college, I was going on a football scholarship to Maryland. I was going to walk on to play baseball, but I always knew in the back of my mind that, the draft was coming up in that June. And I pretty much knew from the football season of my senior year, which is the fall of my senior year, that, barring any injury, and if I just tanked on the field, that, I had a chance to be a top 15 pick. So, I started bracing my mind and my heart around the game of baseball, even though I was still playing football. So it came down to August 4th. I remember the date. Negotiations were going really tough with the Royals. I asked many of times if I could just do the Drew Henson. Well, I was before him, but, kind of like the play football in the fall with Maryland and just play minor league baseball in the summers. But, the Royals weren't having that. Just 5 years earlier, Bo Jackson broke his hip, with the Royals and when the Raiders. So that was fresh in their mind. So they weren't trying to have, me do that. So we came to negotiations. It was tough. The night before I was supposed to report to Maryland, we negotiated and came to an agreement. And so, it came down to the to the midnight hour, literally.
Wow.
2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we got it done. Yep.
So I also want to kind of follow up with that. So you decide to go the baseball route, and then in just 2 seasons, you had your major league debut, so you flew through the system pretty fast. So what was that like? Kind of signing and then eventually.
It was yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna cut you. But yeah, it was it was something that it was something that was exciting. I knew it was going to happen. It was, and at the time, I'm naive, in my mind, I was supposed to be there, earlier, you know what I'm saying? So, but it happened. And, I was terrified, not ready, but, it was, they gave me a little taste just to, see how it was. And it worked. I came down the next year. I got sent back down, but I was a major leaguer in the minor leagues. I felt like that. I already felt like that, but now it was the truth. I saw the pictures up there. I've been to a few major league stadiums. I was just talking about those earlier today to a friend of mine. But, little things, the travel. I came from April. In the minor leagues, I went straight to the major leagues and getting a taste of the charter life, chartered airplanes and eating good food and, 5-star hotels, you know what I'm saying? And it was tough going down, but in my mind, it just braced me to want to get back up,
So, since you did play for the Royals from 98 to 2004, I got to ask you, you were teammates along with the early days of Johnny Gathright. What was it like playing with guys like that?
Well, Joey was not.
He wasn't with them
after me. When I was breaking into the major leagues, the outfield was Jermaine Dye, Carlos Beltran, and Johnny.
That's what I was thinking of.
That was the outfield I was breaking into. Joey was in Tampa, coming up with Tampa at the time. And he later came over with the Royals. But me, it was, at the time, Jermaine was, he ended up having a great major league career. But at the time, he was, trying to establish himself as an everyday major leaguer. Beltran, me and him played in minor leagues coming up. We got called up together for turning himself into a really good ball player. Solidifying himself as, an all-star at that time, And a lot of people don't remember Johnny being with the Royals. A lot of people don't remember Beltran too much being with the Royals. But, all of those guys, Jermaine included, were all-star caliber players, were all-stars. And that was my outfield that I was breaking into. And in my mind, at that time, again, you have to have that mindset that, I remember Johnny telling me in 99, it was like, yo, they're going to trade me and let you play every day, and it's like, okay, and that was my mindset at the time, So.
Now, was Johnny Damon just as crazy as he was back in the Red Sox days with the long hair and all that? He had that crazy persona?
No. It was Johnny was the squarest of dudes you could ever meet. Clean cut, crew cut, he was the nicest dude. And I remember so he got traded to Oakland before he signed the big deal with the Red Sox. And they traded him to Oakland for a little bit. And it was like a rental, half a year rental. And then he went to the Red Sox. And I remember in spring training, Art Stewart, Art's, I don't want to say the late, he's still living, I think, but Art has been with the Royals scouting director. He was my scouting director, Johnny scouting, Beltran, all of our scouting director, and then he became assistant GM. And, last time I checked, he still was with the Royals, you know what I'm saying? Just a long timer, you know what I'm saying? And so he's an old guy, he's old then. This is whatever year, this is 03-ish, 02 or whatever. I know it's about 01. And he comes to me, he's like, D, he talked like this. He talked like slow. He said, D, look at this picture. Look at this picture. And then Johnny, Johnny just signed a big deal with the Red Sox, and he has the long hair with the beard. And like the way Art showed me this paper, how Johnny had the long hair, where everybody remembers him. But at that time, it was in Art's school, it was like, I cannot believe this. Look how he looks, D. Oh God, like it was like a father who just felt like his son just went over the deep end. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, but Johnny was still the same with the long hair and everything. He just became a rock star. You know what I'm saying? He just and changed his whole persona. But yeah, Johnny was a square, man. Back in the Royals days, a straight square.
So we have one of our guests has a question. He's from the Kansas City area, and he grew up watching the Royals back then. And what was Kansas City like?
Nice.
What was your experience there?
I love Kansas City, man. It was it was for me coming from New York and coming to Kansas City, the tradition, and Kansas City was just what I needed. I wasn't, I wanted the New York, the Chicago. I wanted that. Kansas City was kind of, the quiet, homely, type of city. And then when I was really, I had a small glimpse in '03. We were really, really good in '03. We had got up to 11-0 start. We had, Beltran, Raul Ibanez, and was balling that year. And Sweeney, was a star at the time. And we were really, really good. And the city got really behind us. And that was the first time I ever experienced, baseball wise, fans and it was something that I have been thinking about, wanting to happen, dreaming about playing in Kansas City. And it was fun to play, you know what I'm saying? And personally, I never really, became the player that I knew I was capable of playing in front of those fans. So that ate at me a long time. But, it was good to see in 2015, you know what I'm saying? Even 14, they lost them in Worcester. But it was good when I was there, and probably what it is right now. We're running 03. We had a nice little run. I couldn't imagine where it was, the 2014-15-ish around the town. I couldn't imagine how, crazy those Royals fans were going, in Kansas City. But it was a great time, man. Great time.
So now I gotta ask you, I saw you also played in the Japanese league over there. So what was it like playing over there?
I've never seen dudes work so hard at the game. I'm talking about 7 spring training, especially young guys. I'm talking about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning until 7, 8 at night. You know what I'm saying? They would drive a bus, eat lunch, go back out in the field, work, and then dinner time, take a bus, and eat dinner, and then go back out in the field. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I was just like, it was amazing to see. You know what I'm saying? I don't think nobody needs to practice that much baseball, but they look at it as like, we don't practice baseball, we don't play baseball, we work baseball. You know what I'm saying? And they just drill upon drill upon drill. But the fans were great. You never had to worry about booing or anything like that. If anything, you're on the road. They respectful. They gave, usually like in left field on the visiting team, that's like their section in left field, and everybody had their little chants, and it wasn't like the home team would boo or anything. No, it was just, it was real respectful baseball. The fan support. You go in the train station, it's like they treat you like I say the top 2 starters of every team out there can come and pitch in the major leagues and do well here. We had Iwakuma pitch for Seattle a long time, did well out here. He was just, he kind of broke down, I think, and because he was older when he came here. And then, of course, Yu Darvish was a star when I was playing, out there. He was the guy. Faced Darvish many, many times, and Iwakuma's teammate was a young kid named Tanaka, you know what I'm saying? And he was out there throwing flamethrowers, you know what I'm saying, out there. Maeda with the Dodgers, faced him many times. And who else am I missing? There's one more that came over here and is doing well, Japanese wise. So I didn't face, with the boy and the Angels. He was a little younger. I didn't face him, but Tiny. But I think I'm still missing one more. I can't think off the top of my head. But Tanaka, Darvish, Iwakuma, Maeda, I face all those boys out there.
You played as well.
Yeah, I missed Ice K.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I missed Ice K. He was.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I missed him. He was. I actually faced. I think I faced him here in the States. Not in Japan. So, yeah.
There you go. But
I actually played on Ice K's team.
Nice.
The organization that he played for. Saved lives. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But hey, welcome back, Eric.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that, Byron and D. It just shut me down. Like it's just like I'm talking and it just Skype went down.
Yeah, so. I know. I don't know what happened there. It just like sorry, D. But I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to talk to you a little current ball that we have going on now. What do you think of the 60-game season that was proposed and is going down on my birthday nonetheless? July 24th is the start. What do you think about it?
I mean, I think it's needed on the one hand, but on the other hand, I have mixed reviews. You know what I'm saying? On it, I don't. I'm here in Florida now myself, and I see you guys in Florida too. It's a spike, and the viruses, and I know. I don't know. Put it like this. I know it's gonna press on. You know what I'm saying? I know that they're all young athletes, and you just I saw the other day and a week or two ago with Phillies camp, 4 or 5 guys came down with the virus, and some of the trainers, and I just worry, on that end a little bit, but it's needed. The game is needed, and I think everybody's anxious to get on the field. I was talking about this the other day myself. It was a beautiful sign. I just hope everybody stays healthy, and 60 games. I don't know what to think of it, to be honest with you. It's just I feel like it's just to get them on the field and see what happens.
I do gotta ask you though, what do you think of the division alignments? Because as of right now, my honest opinion, this is just me. I don't know what my co-host thinks or you think, but your Royals are in a good spot to actually win, because you got the AL Central, who's not really that good. Besides, well, I can't say the Indians no more because they lost a lot of people. So did the Tigers, but also they'll face in the NL Central teams. Yeah, and they're also facing the NL Central teams too, and they don't have any good teams either, except for the Cubs and Cardinals.
No, which is pretty good.
So do you see the Royals actually coming out of anything in that division?
Honestly, I don't think so. They have to surprise me. I don't know. I actually just talking to a friend of mine right now. We're texting each other. He's a pitching coordinator over there with the Royals right now. But I don't know. I don't know what they have. That's I don't know. I know they got some nice little young pieces here and there. But the Royals' problem for many, many years has always been pitching. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know what they got on the mound. I don't know. I know they always trying to, build through the farm system and then get 1 or 2 trades that work, or they take a shot on a guy that's, kind of trying to see if he can catch lightning in a bottle again. I don't know. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know, bro, like what type of team they have coming back that, again, I like their young pieces. I just don't know if their pitching can last. I just don't know if they spend enough money. I just don't know, So Do they have a chance? Everybody has a chance, right? But the Twins is the team to beat in the Central. You know, they have a decent starting pitching. They got a team that just straight mashes. So whatever. You know, the Cuban dude, big Cuban dude from the Cubs trade. You know, he had a nice year last year. You know, he finally came. You know, broke out last year, and you hope to repeat that. And you know, they got a couple nice guys over there that can play, but we'll see.
So before we
I'm to be honest with you, they'll surprise me if they make it to the playoffs. They'll surprise me.
Definitely, definitely. So before we let you go here, my last question to you is: what was your favorite memory as a player?
Oh man, the one we opened up in New York, and that was a special time. You know, I had about 40, 50 tickets opening day at Yankee Stadium. The late great Bob Shepard, you know, who I grew up watching Yankee games. You know, his voice. You know. You know, said my name, you know what I mean? Like, that was I had been in the league, you know, a few times, you know, a few years at the time, but it was the first time that that's the first thing that kind of popped up in my mind. Opening day, 2001, at Yankee Stadium, facing Clemens with 40 or 50 of my closest family and friends, you know, there. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome memory. Yeah.
That's definitely an awesome memory to have. Definitely. But yeah, thank you for taking time to join us tonight. We appreciate it. We'd love to have you back on when the season is going, if you don't mind.
Sure thing, man. Let me know.
Perfect. Will do. Again, we appreciate it.
All right, you guys take care. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
What a good conversation. What happened, Eric? What happened to the Wi-Fi over there, man? What you doing?
There's something that's called technology, and when it doesn't work,
what you doing? What are you doing to it? Butchering it, torturing it? What are you doing?
Well, that's not good. It's a Sunday show. It's a Sunday show, Byron.
I wasn't going there, but okay. PG show here. PG show.
You brought back old John.
What?
Old John. Byron. Remember back in high school? All right, we won't go there.
No, we will not go there.
We won't.
Even though he's still.
But where we are going is we're going to talk about some horse racing.
Yes, let's go there. Let's go there.
Great for this segment.
Yeah, he probably has been prepping more than we have, and that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
This is horses coming back. Dun, 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 dun. And now.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Eric, Byron, please, it's truly a pleasure to be on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us.
And to all the viewers out there, I'm just an amateur handicapper here for the horses. But Eric, as you know, last Saturday was the first leg of the Triple Crown. First time in history, the Belmont Stakes was the first leg of the Triple Crown. Did you know that?
I know. Well, I learned it from you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Byron, if you weren't aware, last week was the first leg of the 2020
I was well aware.
Crown.
I just didn't watch it. I mean, I have other things I have to be doing. So
He's not.
No, not a big horse. Not a big horse guy. So the favorite, the odds-on favorite, Law won the race easy. Jockey Manny Franco had a lot of horse left coming around the quarter pole. A lot of horse left. Just let him loose. He had him sitting pretty the whole way. Came from 3 off the pace. Just a real good horse. He's currently the number 1 pick in the Kentucky Derby coming up this year.
What's the odds right now?
He's currently sitting at 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. That's pretty good value. I would really predict that this horse goes off at 3-5 come post time on September the 5th.
Okay. So then
here,
2-1. 2-1. You're getting value. Risk 1 to win
what
Right.
the fans
Yeah.
what the fans know then, who is the odds-on favorite? Is he the odds-on favorite then to win it all?
Tiz the Law is his name. Yep, Tiz the Law is his name. He won the Florida Derby down in Hollandale Beach, Gulfstream Park. Also won by 4 lengths. He won last week's. Now, last week was also one of the only times, if not, I believe it was the only time, the Belmont Stakes had been run at 1 1/8 rather than the typical 1.5 miles. Now, the 1.5 miles is typically the third leg of the Triple Crown, and he ran that in 1:46.5. In his 6 career starts, he has 5 wins and 1 third place. So Tiz the Law, if you want any value on this horse, Tiz the Law, right now is the time to get those tickets in.
Right now.
So how much is the
next
highest
horse
bet
I've got-
then?
What's that?
How much is the highest bet going for then?
What's that?
What is
Risk
that?
$1 to win $2.
Okay. So
Yeah. So now the next horse I'd like to touch on is Honor AP. He's my second pick to win the Kentucky Derby. In his 3 starts, he has 2 wins, including the Santa Anita Derby that was ran on June 6th with jockey Mike Smith, trainer John Sheriff. Now, Eric,
Yes.
jockey Mike Smith won the 2018 Triple Crown, 13th time that's ever been done in all of history, on Justify. You've got a very experienced jockey here,
Yes.
and a very good horse with a very good stride. He's just starting to find his stride. He's only ran 3 times in the last year, and
Yeah.
he's going to have a lot of gas in the tank. He could be a really
What is he popping off right now?
Earlier today he was going off at 7-1. Right now he's going off at 6-1. Now I've also seen him at 7-1, and then overnight when he won the Santa Anita Derby, he dropped to 4-1. The bettors are liking this horse. They're liking his stride. They like what they've seen with Honor AP and jockey Mike Smith.
Okay.
Now I've got one value horse for you here, and that's Dr. Post. His current odds are 20-1.
He came in second.
Yeah, he came
was
in.
second.
He came in second to Tiz the Law here. He won. He came in second. He's got a very good trainer.
He's 20-1.
Yeah, he's 20-1 right now.
Oh,
So
I'm laying something on that.
if you want a good value pick in Dr. Post, that's a very good choice. Who's also
Sign me up, doctor.
Yeah, the doctor. Now, he's got a very good pedigree. He's a son of Quality Road with multiple graded stakes wins. And that horse, Quality Road, was actually the 2009 odds-on favorite to win the Kentucky Derby, but a couple of injuries kept him out of that race. So for your in recap here, Tiz the Law, he's honestly my choice to win the Kentucky Derby. Good value on Honor AP, and for your good value long shot, I say Dr. Post
So
to win
so
the
play
Kentucky
weatherman.
Derby.
What is the weather going to be like? Are we expecting rain on the course? Are we not? What's the deal?
In Kentucky, it's usually pretty. The humidity.
So it should be fast track.
Yeah, it should be a fast track. Yeah, it should be a fast track. It's been pretty sloppy in recent years there in Louisville, everything like that. Yeah, it's going to be raining.
So the Coven really just like
third time in history that it hasn't been ran on the first Saturday in May. Last time it's been ran not on the first Saturday in May was during World War II.
Look at that.
That was the last time. Now Eric and Byron too. I have a question for both of you.
Sure.
Here at the end.
Yeah.
So the Triple Crown in horse racing, since it's been recorded, has only been won 13 times since before 1920. And that has always been the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, and the Belmont Stakes.
Right.
The Belmont was always the third race. If Tiz the Law were to win the Kentucky Derby and then go on to win the Preakness Stakes in October, would you consider him the 14th all-time great, or would you classify him in another light? I mean, because it's being ran over several months rather than in the 5-week span that these horses usually have. It's a tough call.
It's a great question.
It's a great question. It's a great question. I'll let Eric answer it first.
Say is almost harder because no other horse has done it. So Yeah, I say he's definitely.
You
the
would
14th.
you would put
I
his
would
you would
classify
you
him.
would put his jockey Silks up next to Justify at Belmont Park. Should he win
I
this?
think it's very justified.
You'd-
With you guys, it would put him in a league of no other. It would put him in no other talk. I mean, nobody really understands. Like me, I'm going to be the first one to admit I'm no horse racing fan, but I will admit that's great. That's greatness when you think about it. The only one to ever win more than any other jockey in in the sport. So I see another Triple Crown happening for the jockey.
Is he calling it Triple Crown?
Are you calling it?
Are you
I'm calling
a
it.
Triple Crown winner here, Byron?
I'm calling
Mark
it.
the tape.
The 14th time in history.
What's the
Mark
odds?
the tape.
What's the odds there?
Oh,
I'm
geez.
calling
I mean,
it.
Well, since I think 1918 or 1919, it's only been done 13 times.
What do you think Tiz Law's at right now to win next two? 50-1?
Oh, the next two.
Is that high?
Geez, I don't know. I mean, way higher than that. I mean,
Really?
to win the next two, I mean, that's a very. I mean, it's only been done 13 times in history.
Right. So
It's got to be. I don't know.
maybe
I don't,
lay
I
a
don't
little
know.
5 spot there.
Yeah, I mean, five
Takes a 5 spot.
to win at least 100 there. I mean,
I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it. Triple
Brian,
Crown.
heard
Yeah.
it here. Byron's calling a 2020 Triple Crown
I think
victory.
he's the first one to call this.
Sure. All right. Well, we've heard it right here.
It just
And,
it'll
warm up.
it'll depend. Like when it comes to horse racing, of course I'm no expert, but I know it comes down to like the position they're in out when they come out of the gate too. When they come out of the starting gate, it depends on. I've heard a lot of analysts talk about that. What's your take on that?
There's an old saying: a horse race cannot be won at the starting gate, but it certainly can be lost. Which
That's a
yeah.
great point. And
Mhm.
and the horse racing that I've watched the past week or so, it's
it
not.
can be won or lost right at the starting
It
gate.
can,
yeah.
but it's not until you cross the
It's not until you go past the wire.
you got to pass the wire.
Yeah, sure.
So
We will see.
Yeah.
I would like to see another Triple Crown. You don't see them every year, so I'd love to see it.
There was a 37 drought until 2015 when American Pharoah won.
Won it, yeah.
37 years. You know the previous horse to do it before him?
I heard it, but I forgot. I heard it on ESPN.
Give me a hint. Start with A. Affirmed, 1978.
oh, that's,
Yeah, affirmed in 1978.
I almost went Seabiscuit.
Yeah, you almost said Seabiscuit. Okay, guy. Yeah. All right, pal.
Okay.
But yeah, well, it's been a pleasure
Yeah.
being on the show.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, maybe before the Kentucky Derby, maybe I'll have another appearance.
Yeah,
Mixing into the mix onto the show.
Yes.
Talk a
You come back on like let's see when is the next one?
well, that'll be the first. Well, the next big one will be August the 8th, the
August
Travers
okay.
Stakes.
So why
August
don't
the 8th,
you come back on about a
Friday before.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that Friday show.
so August
yeah
7th.
yeah
August-
and see if the
yeah.
and tell us
August-
if the odds have changed because who knows
Yeah.
from time in how what the
Yeah.
odds.
About the field that's in the Haskell. Law might be running in that race. We'll see how he can do there if they decide to put him in. So yeah, that'd be an exciting.
That's great.
That'd be an exciting
Yeah,
show.
so when that time comes, come back on, let everybody know if the odds
Sure.
have changed.
All right, yeah, great. Well, thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me on. Yeah, thank you, Byron. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure.
All right, we'll see you.
That's our in-house horse betting expert, Tyler Brunfield, and love to have him on. It was great. Yeah, I love talking ponies. We love talking little ponies here.
Little pony action, yeah.
Nothing,
I put it
never heard.
that Friday before the race, so I'd love to hear because anything can happen to any horse. So the lineup's set right now, but it could change. You never know. up until now.
Well, you know what they say: a horse is a horse is a horse. So,
right. So now to our UFC analyst. Okay, you said you saw the fights yesterday. Yesterday. So how was it?
yesterday,
How was it?
my picks did not go as planned. But the main card was a hell of a fight. A lot of people are calling it the fight of the year. Two guys were just going at it, left, right. I think in the end of it, each of them got punched in the face, not just their whole body, in the face well over 120 times.
So then, would you put it in the top 100 fights of all time then? Or would you...
Top 100. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if people are people saying this is the fight of the year, yeah, I mean, it makes the top 100.
Or do you think it's a fight like the number one fight of all time, Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner, when they beat the hell out of each other at the Ultimate Fighter 1? Are you trying to say it was kind of like that? Are you trying to say that, Eric?
To development.
And I think we actually no. Okay, we one of our top well, he's a big horse betting expert, and he's also a UFC expert. But he's being a little shy right now. He doesn't want to join, but I'll try and pick his brain and get him on at some point. But yeah, so that fight, yeah, the one that you brought up, top fight. This one, take a look at it, watch it. It's on YouTube by now.
But are you saying it's like that fight? Because you said they were beating the hell out of each other, hit after hit after hit in the face.
It never went to the ground, or if it did, it was very minimal. Yeah, it was a stand up, just punch fight, punch you in the face, you punch me in the face. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to check it out because I when I was a big fan of UFC, I remember that Stephen Bonner Forrest Griffin fight. That by far that deserved to be the number one fight of all time, and it was. They literally beat the hell out of each other for, I think it was 3 rounds, 5 rounds, however it went.
Right.
So, I gotta see this one now. You kind of intrigued me to see if it's like this one. Kind of intrigued me. Know anybody or no?
It was a lesser card fight, so a lot of fighters, are up and coming or kind of towards the end of their career, so it's really not even worth talking about the other fighters on the card.
Oh, did you look on ESPN today? The first look of Fight Island. I saw the first look. It looks amazing, don't it?
Yeah, I saw that tease by Dana. Which one? Okay, so do you want to say that on camera? Okay. No, he was just showing me one of his top fights.
Well, what's his? I want to hear his.
Randy Couture versus who? Say it out loud.
Nogueira Jr.
Nogueira Jr.
Minotaur Nogueira.
Yeah, that was a good fight. That was a good fight.
Byron knows it, see.
Pay-per-view that was, but I know the fight he's talking about. I have it on DVD. I saw it on DVD. I forget what pay-per-view it was, but I remember it. That was one of the best. That was one of the best. Sorry, that was one of the best Couture fights. It was, by far.
I wish I knew what that fight was about, because I could talk to you about it, but I can't. Travis could, but he says we'll get on.
Travis doesn't want that smoke.
But it's okay. So before we end the show here, any parting words, Byron?
No, just stay safe. Follow us on YouTube, at the Sports Base Show with Byron and Eric, our Facebook page, Sports Base Show with Byron and Eric, our Twitter page, Sports Base Show with Byron and Eric as well. All three of those, and you can find us on all available podcasting apps of what Eric? Apple is one, Spotify, I think, Google, and am I missing others? I think iTunes is one. I think iTunes is one. Somewhere around there, but just follow us. Anything you want to say before we head off?
No, it was a fun show. I want to thank Greg Ullman, D. Brown, and Tyler Brunfield, to our in-house horse betting expert, to join us live on camera.
Are we expecting any? Are we expecting any special guests for Friday's show?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. To be determined. We'll see. We'll see if anyone wants to hop on with us. I think you're open for it, right?
Yeah, I'm open for it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Okay. Perfect. Well, then, sign us off.
All right. Will do. Well, this has been the Sports Base Show with Byron and Eric. We will see you Friday. And I hear Travis back there. Get on. Yeah. I was old school UFC by far. The days of Couture, Liddell. I miss those days. Those were the days. That's when they actually beat the hell out of each other. Not like what it is today.
That was the first pay-per-view we got together in high school, and we ordered it. And they literally just stood in the center of the ring, just fucking throwing.
Yeah. That was one of the all-time great rivalries, next to Ken Shamrock and Tito Ortiz. That was another one.
That wasn't really a rivalry, because Ken Shamrock had his ass beat like a drum.
No, I know. It was funny, though, because they also fought again in Bellator. They fought again in Bellator, and he got his ass kicked again by Tito.
That's because he just continually gets his ass beat. He just likes to run his mouth. He's like a 55-year-old guy trying to fight a 42-year-old. He just gets his ass beat. It's like when two geriatrics get into it down at the pool hall.
Didn't he ever realize, too, once he left to go to the WWF, and he left his gym, that he totally...
How many fights did Shamrock actually win in the UFC?
That's what I'm saying. Like, when he was training, I mean, and when he did go to the WWF, he left his gym. He didn't do no training.
I think it's, but at the end of the day, you still got to fight. And then I don't think he ever actually won a fight in the UFC.
I don't think so, except for maybe, the early days when it was against nobodies?
Level fights.
He always got his ass kicked by Gracie.
I'm surprised he can actually use English still. He got his head bounced on the triple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised he doesn't have an extra chromosome that's sprouted up.
I mean, for God's sakes, even Tank Abbott kicked his ass.
Oh, yeah. But he's good at talking shit, though. If you had to pick somebody that's going to talk shit as a 55-year-old man, it should be Ken Shamrock.
Oh, yeah, by far. And plus, I know you can agree with me to this before we leave. Randy Couture, if he wanted to, he could still fight if he wanted to. That dude is in shape.
I think Randy Couture could probably still throw hands with
anybody.
The bottom third of the UFC fighters in his division.
Oh, hell yeah.
50.
Hell yeah. And that dude stays in shape like there's no tomorrow.
He could probably still throw hands with...
He's got to be the GOAT. He'd
stick in there.
If not Gracie, he's got to be the GOAT of all time. He's got to be.
Remember the one time Gracie fought Matt Hughes and he got his ass beat like a drum?
Yeah.
He just laid there on him and just...
Robbie Royer back in the day. He came back for a bit, got his ass kicked.
Gracie, I remember this fight to this day. Everybody told me that Gracie was going to kick the shit out of Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes flattened him out on his stomach and just literally beat this dude's face in from the back.
Yep.
He just laid there and took it.
Yep.
The referees fight.
He took the fight. He took it. Any big horse picks right now tonight?
Los Alamitos. Let's get the Los Alamitos race. Hey, who's smoke?
He might be coming up with a late pick for the viewers.
Oh, okay. What's the late pick? Come on, give it to us.
Race 4. I got 0 minutes.
Where is this? What track?
Los Alamitos.
So is that his pick?
These are all newborns.
No, they're all new horses, so there's...
This is out of control. No, literally no lower out this guy.
What about Pocono?
Yeah, no, there's no good reason.
No. All right, so there's no...
But do you remember the fight that you're asking me about, though? Was it Royce Gracie the second or third versus Matt Hughes?
I do remember that. Yes.
UFC first started.
Yes.
And Hughes literally kicked the shit out of this dude to the point where the referee was like, "Please stop! You're gonna give him brain damage."
Yep. I also remember.
Fight flattened out on your stomach with your fucking head like this. He was in the "please don't kill me" fucking pose, and he was just beating his head in from the back.
Remember, what was it? I can't think of his name right. Oh, younger days of Vitor Belfort. That was by far the best knockout. Remember that one?
Fighter, Andre Arlovsky, because he had the deadly fucking back kicks. He should just knock bitches out with a back kick.
Yeah, whatever happened to him? He disappeared for a while there.
No, he switched over. He went to Bellator.
Oh, is that where he's at now? Bellator?
He retired. He's old as shit, just like all the people that we love. They're done.
That's true, yeah. I don't know anybody nowadays. I know I tell Eric I gotta get back into it since I'm still a UFC fan, but I just don't think it's the same as what it used to be, and I think that
same year the most I've ever been let down by all my sports figures. Conor McGregor got his ass beat. Ronda Rousey died.
He's by far the Brett Favre of UFC. He's retired how many times now?
Yeah, but he's made more money than Brett Favre could ever dream of.
True, but he is definitely by far Brett Favre in regards to retirements. So I think he'll be back again. Because he wants that fight. He wants that fight with Mazadov.
You can't handle Nurmagomedov.
But great. So what we'll do is we'll end the show here. You know, great talk and mush it up with some UFC talk. We'll have the show come Friday.
Yeah, you better have some surprise guests Friday.
I'll do my best, Byron.
All right.
We still love you. Have a good night.
Yep. You guys have a good night. Don't do anything stupid.
When in doubt, chop it out. Florida State, baby. Get some fucking smoke.
Yeah. Go Noles.
Got the tattoo.
Go
All
Noles.
right, Byron.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
It's a good show.